always something happening. Different things, like maybe when you were younger going for a joyride in a hot car or something. Just getting together with the homeboys, having a couple of drinks, talking about old times. That's good.
A few of the fellas that get together and we get whacked, which is when I say whack, smoke that dust and go out and make a move, and in the process of making a move and making money, the dust is already in our mind, it's gone and might tear off a couple of guns, and one of the homeboys might say, well, hey, let's ride on the Denver lane. I might say, it was splendid cars, and we get on and go make a bus right there,
We did robberies, but we were always out in Hollywood, snatching purse, or we would go to a bar or something and let somebody pick us up, drive for a certain amount where we know where the Crips are at, and we'll set it up right there.
The criminal activities of the gangs place the gang members in frequent contact with the police.
I really don't like the police because, well, even though if we're not gangbanging, if we're just sitting there having a good time, they harass us,
Police, they could die. They all could die. I hate them.
The gang's feelings toward the police and toward the world in general are emphatically expressed in wall paintings and graffiti. The most visible sign of gang activity in a neighborhood.
Okay, the writing on the wall is a means of advertising for your gang because you're all trying to get that advertisement. That's why people write on the wall in order to show you're number one and you're going to brag about it. It's a means of bragging, and it's just like a company goes out and advertising, like Ford, the brighter idea people.
It just lets other people know what this neighborhood is, like I go into another area and, I just write my name, let them know that I've been there,
I wrote on the wall to show many people, that I was there. I was still walking the streets, put my reputation up on the wall.
In many respects, gang graffiti is the newspaper of the streets. A directory of current gang members and a measure of the gang's influence in the area. But the graffiti is not the only form of gang advertising, for members of the gangs often use hand signals to proclaim their affiliation.
Well, for instance, like Parus, their hand signs are like this here. For us, the Crips is like this here, which is, Mafia Crips this way, Like you have West Side Brim could be something like this here. LA Outlaws like this. And you have someone like Pueblo Bishops, which is a hand signal like this here. And you might have the Denver Lane for West Side this way, When I say West Side, it's all like this here in one,
Tattoos are another way that gang members identify one another and advertise their exploits.
Most guys that are from the neighborhoods, they're not ashamed to say, I'm from this neighborhood. They're proud of being from that neighborhood, so they put their neighborhood on them to show other guys, hey, I'm like, if I had my neighborhood on me, and I was proud to show it.
Here, for instance, this is where I'm from. That's my town, Compton. That's my nickname. That's most all of the gang members, they have their nickname tattooed somewhere on them, and I have mine here.
I got a HW, and I got a cross my middle finger.
Membership in the gangs is no longer confined to adolescence alone. For in many cases, the gang is a matter of a lifetime commitment. And even if a gang member wanted to leave, the procedure for getting out would discourage all but the most determined from trying.
You can't just walk away, If you want to get out, they just hold a meeting, you know, call all the guys together and say, hey, this guy wants to get out, man. And they initiate you out. And it's not the same as you're getting in, because when you're getting out, they go, you know, to really hurt you, not to, you know, see what you can do.
You know, the five rules tell us that once a Crip, always a Crip. Whether you're Crippin' or not, you must die. So therefore, it's a lifetime war now.
Because I was born up in the neighborhood, and I'd rather, you know, be like that till I die. For my neighborhood, I cry. For my neighborhood, I die.
As long as I live here in East LA, my children will get involved because of everybody. It's just so tight. It's a traditional thing. It's so tight in the East LA area that if I have my kids living here, growing up here, they'll eventually belong to a gang. I would talk to them. I would tell them that Michael and Rob, you know, I was out there. I know what it is, you know. And it's not nothing to play with. It's not, you know, it's not easy out there as you think it would be, you know. But if you're out there, do it right, you know. Don't go out there being nothing, you know, or carry yourself as nothing to be somebody, you know. Write your name and do whatever. Have class for yourself while you're out there gangbanging. Don't be a nothing gangbang, you know.
With the cycle of gang violence well established, and with the gangs deeply entrenched in the tradition of the neighborhoods, few gang members hold out much hope for the future.
I don't think it'll ever work. We've tried to get along with other gangs before, and it didn't last very long. You know, it just, something would happen, you know, certain reasons, you know, somebody does something that another guy doesn't like from another gang, and that starts the whole thing, you know.
Despite repeated attempts by community agencies to end the epidemic of violence, the gang killings and other crimes continue to increase. As a result of widespread community alarm, mounting pressure has been brought to bear upon enforcement agencies to stem the tide of lawlessness. For the influence of the gangs is not confined to the barrio or the ghetto. The expansion of robberies, burglaries, and rapes into the wider community is threatening the lives and property of all. While the challenge is great, there is much that every law enforcement officer can do to help keep the gangs in check. Fundamental to the approach is the fact that gangs thrive on notoriety within the community and anonymity within the criminal justice system. By understanding the gangs and how they work, the law enforcement officer may cut through this shield of anonymity. And by moving decisively to remove the hardcore offender from the streets, he may help to weaken the gang hierarchy, effectively undermining the foundation upon which the gang depends. Gang graffiti can provide the officer with a wealth of information on the shifting patterns of intergang relations, plus a current roster of gang members identified by their aliases or monikers, and the hand signals which gang members use, as well as the tattoos they wear, can be invaluable sources of information on gang affiliation. It's also well to remember when searching gang members for weapons that the girls may be carrying the guns. Though the gangs themselves may endure, the prospect now exists that through effective law enforcement, the chain of violence may at last be broken, and our cities may once again be rendered safe for all our citizens.